Hey y'all, and welcome to Shade and the City. It's your girl Treese here, and we're here to get into Beyond the Gates. Of course, this is season 1, episode 38. So this is Friday's episode that I owe to you guys. So y'all, let's get right into it because, as you know, it is technically now Monday, so we're getting a new episode today. I want to make sure I stay up on it. So, we got catching up to do because y'all understand. I went through the explanation last week, but I hope you had a great Easter weekend. I hope everybody had a good time. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, make sure that you hit the subscribe as well. And again, I always appreciate y'all. Please keep lighting up the comments, giving me your theories, your predictions on everything that you think is going to happen. I love it. As y'all know, I read everyone, respond to every one of y'all. And I love the dialogue. So I really appreciate it, y'all. So yeah, let's get into episode 38 of Beyond the Gates and let's get shady. So Vanessa comes to Nicole's office. She's trying, she comes through with a bottle of wine, champagne, trying to have a ponderosa with her girl, and says that she came to RSVP in person for her anniversary party. Now, Nicole asked her, well, how is the house hunting going for the unalive woman? And I said, you better, Nicole. Y'all know where y'all got it first. I told you. Just like that ex-wife, but again, I just threw it out there. I don't know if anything gonna bite, but okay. All right, so Vanessa said, you know what? Joey has already explained about lying about his unalive mother. And he had his reasons. And so she's explained to Nicole that he lied because he was ashamed of his old age. And so now Vanessa says that she's starting to get to know Joey, and he opened up about the failed marriage and how the wife cheated on him and he ran the person off. And so Nicole tells her that sounds real calculated. And Vanessa says that they're just getting to know each other. Okay. And Nicole asked her outright, look, do you have feelings for Joey Armstrong? And so Vanessa says she thinks Joey's attractive. And Nicole concurs. Well, yeah, the man is kind of fine for his age. Okay, he's given a little bit of a zaddy, but that doesn't mean you have feelings for him. And so Vanessa said, well, I do. Indeed, I do. All right. So we're going to leave that there, right? Now, we jump over to Joey Armstrong, who's down at the casino, and he's questioning Randy on where his favorite loser, Doug, is. Doug is over at the hospital. Joey asked Randy where Doug is. And it's like, because I don't believe he could quit cold turkey. Randy tells him that he's been committed to it, man. He's been keeping himself busy so he doesn't gamble. Like, he's holding on strong. And Joey tells him, I need you to get his mind back on the tables. And if he can't, I will. I said, well, you heard what he said. And Randy tries to vouch for Doug and says that, look, man, he's working hard. He can pay you back. And Joey doesn't care about that and lets him know that he doesn't want what Doug has. It's what he's after, which is his wife. And so then we finally learned that what Joey's motive is that he wants to use Vanessa's business to launder money. Okay. Surprise, surprise. So little do she know, she thinking that man really want her to love on her and, give her this time and attention that she can't get from Doug, when in actuality, he can't give her none of that. And don't plan to give her none of it either. Too bad, so sad. That's what happens when you always out here thinking the grass is green on the side. Anyway, Randy tells him that this plan is not going to work. He says that Doug would never get Vanessa involved. And Joey says that he wants Doug to get Vanessa to play along. Joey asks Randy if he plans on telling anybody about this, and then asks about his ex and his kid, and tells him to get Doug back at that table. And I said, oh, if that wasn't a silent threat. Okay. Now, back at the hospital, Doug asked Shanice, why were you over there talking to, Vanessa about my business? And Shanice tells him, look, I think you've been running yourself into the ground. And then Randy calls him to try to persuade him with some scotch and, come on over to casino, bruh. And Doug doesn't fall for it and, realizes it's Randy speaking on Joey's behalf. Um, and then he just notices basically his hands shaking uncontrollably. And so, what do y'all think that's about? Do you think that that's like an itch? Like, you know how people say they go through withdrawals? Do you think that's from withdrawals of like not being able to gamble and like the cards? Or I don't know. It's weird. Because what could explain that? Or is he like, is his health really? I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. Now, let's jump over to Naomi. She's over at her grandparents' household, and she goes over there and sees Miss Anita Dupree at the piano, and Anita ask about the case. And so Naomi kind of fills her in and explains that, yeah, I was passionate. I can admit I wanted to make my dad pay for what he did to our family. However, she's like, I realized that my dad is still my dad. And so I ended up withdrawing from the case. And she's like, I hope that, you're not disappointed in me for that. And Anita's like, no, I would, never. And, I'm obviously proud of you. And asks, where that leaves things with Bill. And so Naomi isn't really sure, but she realizes that, basically her father is mortal, and that that leaves him somewhere in the middle. Now we hop over to Chelsea and Kat. They're at Uptown discussing their new marketing strategies, because now they are going to do this activewear line along with the purse line. So they talk about Samantha and how they can tell that her peers are all going to be willing to follow. So Kat says that it's another way of basically saying she's Dupree. So so Chelsea and Kat talk about, being a brand new business and making a product line with a new face, and, how risky that can be. And so Kat lets her know that she's been thinking, and she knows Chelsea doesn't want to hear it. But she reminds Chelsea that, you would be queen creative, but my eye is on the money and the bottom line. And I think that there's a major source that we're not tapping into. I love Kat. I love Kat and her business mindset. And she said, and it's your mama. And I know you don't want to hear that, girl. I'm sorry. But I wouldn't be a good financial advisor if I didn't tell you. And I was here for it. So she suggests bringing on Danny as head of marketing. And Chelsea just doesn't like it. She's not here for it. She's not here for feeling like she's a child again and she got to listen to her mama's demands. Chelsea says that I don't see opening that door again. And finally, Kat tries to get Chelsea to look. This would be different because this time your mother would be working for you, not the other way around. Okay? She's working for you. But I can understand where Chelsea's coming from, because I would think at the same time, as your manager, technically, yeah, Danny was supposed to be, and she was working for her, but still boss her around, and Chelsea had to listen to whatever she said. So I can understand Chelsea's concern 100%. Now, Danny is at her house looking to pour a drink when Pamela walks in and deters her again. So I do think that this is a positive influence. Pamela asks her how she feels about the Chelsea situation, and Danny admits that, she's struggling. And so she lets her know that she's there with a proposal. And she said that she wants to start a modeling agency, and feels like with their experience, they would have a blast working together. And Danny tells her that she does want to join, but she wants to have top billing. And so it would have to be the Dupree Curtis modeling agency. Okay. So I said, I'm here for it. And now it'll be interesting, because I wonder, now that Chelsea wants her, if Danny starts doing her own thing, will she be like, well, no, I got my own things to do, sweetie. You didn't want me before. I don't think she will, but it would just be interesting, right? Because then she would have something else to do. Now, even though she could use a lot of things to do at this point. Now we go back to the hospital over at Garland. Doug asks Ashley how much money she has when Shanice interrupts and tells her, look, ignore him. He's been playing these betting games all morning. And so he bets her a quarter that he can make the shot. And of course, he makes it. So jumping over back to the Dupree, Anita and Vernon's home, Naomi is looking at old photos of of her grandmother, and it tells her how much she misses performing. And you can tell that it's very nostalgic. She misses her career. And so Naomi suggests doing something with Danny to make her feel special. And so they plan an impromptu get together at Uptown. And Anita agrees that, she's going to gather the family and get them together. I thought this was really cute. Back over at Danny's house, Pamela has agreed that Danny could have top billing, but Danny says she still needs time to think about it. So she thanks Pamela for being there for her, and Pamela reiterates that she's Danny's ride or die. So I feel like, I don't know about y'all, get out your baskets and put the nugget. I feel like she keeps saying that for a reason, and I think Pamela is going to completely betray her for some reason, in somehow, some way. I don't know. Or maybe she really, I mean, we've seen her pull up and be her ride or die. So maybe that's just who she is. But I feel like the fact that they keep harping on that makes me feel like there's going to be like some type of big betrayal or something. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. So Danny basically just wants to get Pamela out of her house so she can have a drink. And then she's interrupted by a phone call, which we know it happens to be Naomi, asking her to meet her at the Grands dressed up for a night at Uptown. So Danny is like, Naomi, I'm really not in the mood for that. I see this bottle. It looked good. It looked tempting. But Naomi says that she won't take no for an answer. Back at Nicole's office, and it's crazy because we didn't see her get the call to go to Uptown. We didn't see anybody else, Kat, Chelsea. We didn't see nobody else get their call. But so Nicole admits that, she's surprised to hear Vanessa admit that she has feelings for Joey. And Vanessa says that, there can be all types of feelings that aren't romantic. She says she has a feeling that she can make a lot of money selling Joey real estate. And so Nicole asks her, how many houses does Joey need? And so she knows, she's like, okay, I know Joey's a powerful man, and that power can be sort of an aphrodisiac. And Vanessa said, well, she was turned on when she heard about the ex-wife. And Nicole tells her, look, I read a study on crazy and delusional, just like you, okay? And apparently it's a thing that women are attracted to bad boys and how they believe they can break through this tough exterior that only they can access. And so Nicole was like, and yeah, it could seem fun, especially if the woman has an unmet need. And I said, and so Vanessa's like, are you referring to my marriage to Doug? Yes, girl. Yes. We know. Everybody know. Not you out here acting like, and this supposed to be your good girl. She not stupid. Come on, girl. So now we jump back over to Randy. We're back at the casino, and Randy tells Joey that, look, I tried to get Joey out of that hospital, and he said, look, he gonna pay you back. Joey tells Randy, look, you're incompetent. I told you to do something, you didn't get it done, so I plan to go do it myself. Now, back at Uptown, Chelsea says, look, I like the idea of being my mother's boss. And Kat says, and not only would that be good, but it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do. So we can just pull this whole Dupree family business together. She tells Chelsea that Samantha in the mix and adding Danny is the last piece to their puzzle. And so Chelsea says right now that's the idea she still ain't going for it. Okay. So she needs a little more time to let it marinate. Now, Danny finally makes it over to her parents' house, which is, where Naomi is waiting for her. And Naomi admits that, hey, the pop-up is really not about you. It's about grandma. Okay. And Naomi says that Anita has been sad and nostalgic. And so she wanted to do something for her and, bring her back to her roots. And this is just so cute. And Danny is just so impressed with her daughter and just how sweet and empathetic she is. And I did love that. So they start practicing her old routine when Anita walks in, and they, start playing coy. And so they play it off. They're just doing some viral challenge. I'm sorry. And then, they pretend that they're going on a night out on the town, and Anita agrees to join them. And I said, well, so it'll be interesting because based off the previews, I was like, was that Anita being scared to get up on stage, or was she scared about something else? Y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. All right. So Doug has come out of a surgery, okay? And Shanice asked him if everything's okay. He's clearly like a little disoriented, right? So he snaps back and says, no, I'm fine. It's every day. It's not every day that you lose a patient. So Ashley runs to the nurse's station where she's not wanted and tells him, Look, Doug, I watched the whole, she didn't say, what is Doug's last name? Do we know? I forgot just that fast. But anyway, but she tells Doug, look, don't worry about it. I watched the whole thing. It's not your fault. And he basically belittles her and says, yeah, I guess you would know from your experience, huh? Because you've been here for all of 2 weeks and because you delivered somebody's baby. Now you think you're doing something? Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, Ashley. I didn't even hold you. I understand it was misdirected anger, but I was here for it. Y'all let me know your thoughts. So Ashley says that, from what she witnesses, the patient's heart gave out. And he sarcastically then thanks her again and said, thank you, Ashley, for your layman's description, heart failure. And said something that I was supposed to prevent. Can you stop, Peanut Gallery? I said, I love it. I love it, Doug. I'm here for you. So Shanice is reading over the patient's file and says that, look, he was high risk and, he waited too long to seek help and assures him that he did everything he could. She tells him it's terrible what happened, but hurting himself is, hurting himself for no good purpose, that's not going to solve anything. And so she's like, you need to go give yourself time and maybe, you can learn something that can help your other patients. So he talks about how, I made every basket this morning, but now he's upset that his hands aren't working for what they were meant to do. And then he ends up slamming his hand down on the damn counter, which results in him hurting the damn self. Like, damn, Shanice just forewarned him. We jump back over to Nicole's, and Nicole said that, look, Vanessa, like I said to y'all, you gotta play dumb with us, okay? We saw you when you was running around with Diego and looked like you was ready to run around with anything around the country club, that you was out here being free. So don't play dumb with us, okay? Nor Nicole. So she already knows that, look, that flame has been burnt out in their relationship, and that's why you seek companionship elsewhere. Vanessa admits that, no, Doug doesn't meet my every need, but she still cares about him. And Vanessa tells her how, I spoke with Shanice and she expressed her concern about him working so much. And she admits that I'm also worried about Doug, as well. And then back at the hospital, Shanice is telling Doug that, okay, so you had a clean break. So your hand is going to heal just fine. However, you're restricted from performing any surgeries. You're cleared by Dr. Shaw, and suggests, or Shaw, whatever, and suggests it would be good for him to take a break for a while. Okay. Doug speaks through the curtain trying to ask the doctor, well, how long is he going to be out and he won't be able to do surgery? And that's when Joey comes from behind the curtain and responds that he doesn't know, but they have a problem. And I guess that's that. Dun, 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 dun. So I don't know. I'll be honest. Friday's episode in comparison to like the rest of the week, I don't know. I guess maybe because I was expecting more. Like every week they've kind of left us on a good cliffhanger. And this week I just kind of felt like it was like, because I don't think none of us are that much invested in Doug and Joey that we're all sitting hanging on the edge of our seats to find out what's going to happen on Monday. And correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I know we don't always have to agree, but I think for the majority of us, based on how we talk in the comments, I don't think any of us are sitting around waiting. I mean, of course, we want to know what happens. You got to finish up the storyline, but I don't think this was like the cliffhanger that we were looking, or Anita getting ready to perform like that. That's not the cliffhanger we were looking for on this Friday. As my good 6-year-old baby says, on this day. Okay. So yeah, y'all, I appreciate you being here. If you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure that you comment, and make sure that you hit the notification bell. Make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky. Catch me. I do be trying to live Sky when I can watch the episode live. Also check us on Facebook, IG, and the TikTok. Yes, definitely go follow us there, y'all. And yeah, I appreciate all your support, and we will get into it tomorrow for episode 39 of Beyond the Gates. So y'all be good. Happy Monday. Have a great start to your week. And yeah, happy Easter Monday for all of those that celebrate. Bye bye.